Well, just in summary, I want to kind of focus on some of the highlights of this year for me, some of the things I've really learned and grown from, some of the things I've reflected on, some of the things I've tried to share with others, with my students and my colleagues at the school. The first is actively learn, which I already discussed at length in another video. I really think that this is a way where I've gone beyond the minimum requirements to use this tool to help my students, both those that are high achievers that need to be pushed further by asking them provoking questions that make them think about the text, stop and think while they're reading instead of just skimming through, and also providing differentiated learning to students that are struggling by assigning certain questions to different groups, so that students are encountering these texts on their own level and they're able to master them. Um, it's been a really effective tool, and I hope to continue to use that. Another thing that's been a highlight for me this year is the work I've done with individual conferences and continual feedback for particularly the writing process with my students. Individual conferences, I have made that a requirement this year for English 1010 and English 12 for students to actually sign up and come talk to me on video chat face to face. And this is a very time consuming process, and for me it's actually exhausting. It takes up a lot of time, and students will flake out sometimes and not show up, and sometimes it can be frustrating, and some students are really afraid of it at first because it's not something that they're used to at this school. But I feel like the benefits are so important that I want to keep doing this. This is a way to truly individualize my teaching to where I'm touching individuals, um, where and helping them with what they need, rather than just focusing on a group at a time. I'm actually getting on to the individual level. So students that came to me for their individual conferences with a completed draft, I was able to look at it more closely, push them to find better evidence. We were able to screen share and look right in the Pioneer Library and look for better resources and understand them and how to quote, how to use formatting. So I was able to push their writing. And then some students came to me completely lost and they hadn't even begun the writing process. And I was able to get them started and again help them find the research that they need, help them feel more confident, help them just work on a thesis statement or ideas. And just, I think after talking to students where they can see me as a person talking to another person, some students were able to relax and weren't so overwhelmed, and it was a really positive interaction, and it led to some really great research papers in both classes. So I'm going to try with Blackboard next year to do more weekly group conferences, but I'm just not sure. I'm not convinced that that can ever really replace this one-on-one feeling that a student will get when they can have their particular answers or questions answered by a teacher and not fear, other students being there. So that was one thing that was really beneficial. Some of the feedback I got, this is one kind of makes me chuckle, but this is kind of proof that as a teacher I can push students that are high achievers, that are our top students at our school, but I can help them to go beyond what they ever thought was possible with their own writing. This is from one of our top students at this school, and I just love it. It's because she talks about how painful the process was to be given feedback on writing when she had never really encountered that before. She'd never really encountered anything but perfect scores on her writing, and she is a really good writer. And this I just love this comment because it shows how much better she was able to become this year. And I will say most of it was her own determination and willingness to listen to feedback. But it just, I hopefully this shows that I'm able to work with high achieving students, and I believe in them and believe that they could be pushed beyond what they thought that they could do, rather than just saying, oh, this student's good, I don't need to really work with her. um, I also got a lot of feedback from my English 12 students, and these comments come from both the higher, more successful, high achieving students, but also some of them that are in the tier 1 group that have always struggled with writing. And I like the way it demonstrates that both of these groups, that all students can benefit from having a teacher that believes in them and believes that they can accomplish something that even they don't believe they can do. And after conferencing with them and then working on them with each step of the process of the research paper, these were some of their comments at the end of the quarter, that it was satisfying that they found that they could do something that was hard, and how gratifying that was for them to accomplish that, and that it was not as overwhelming as it could have been because of the support that they were given along the way. The last thing I want to kind of highlight is the OER project that I did for my personal goal. This was where I had students, it was an OER contest, so I had students complete their projects on A Tale of Two Cities, and I chose projects to be published in the OER Commons, and the winners, the ones that were published, also received an Amazon gift card as incentive to work hard, and kind of a prize for getting their resource published. And this is just an email back and forth between me and Jenna Ellis, I shared this project with my department, and she, for one, is kind of interested in taking this project and doing some more with it with her class as they read Frankenstein. And I'll leave these slides in my portfolio, but this is a video presentation I did about the project, some slides, and the sign-up sheet, and kind of the process we went through with this OER project. What I loved about this project is that the winners were students that were not necessarily those that always receive the A, not necessarily the high achieving students. It was a creative project, so it allowed some students that were normally not maybe as academic to also be praised and celebrated and published for their expertise in art, in theater, in using technology. So I hope you have a chance to go look at that resource in the OER Commons. There's some really great stuff in there, and I was really proud of what they were able to accomplish, and I hope to be able to continue with this kind of OER work into the future, adding to this resource on A Tale of Two Cities, and maybe even I guess my future goal is to use the OER Commons in fresh new ways, to have students creating their own accounts and working with it that way, publishing things directly in there if possible. But that has been a way that I've tried to support the mission of their school, and gotten students involved also in the process of creating resources that can be used for future students, both from our school and from schools around the world. And when I was in I did some consulting work this year. I taught these at these conferences about having students get involved in the OER process, and people were impressed, and they were impressed with our school, and teachers are going to try this with their own students around the world. So I'm hoping that this is a way to push students and share, and just have fun with publishing student work. And that's it for this year. It's been a great year. I was able to take on two new classes, and that's also been a challenge. But I think I have that under control, and overall, I feel like it's been a great year. So thank you.